Hey guys, today we've got the Team Corrali Spark 1/8 scale buggy back on the bench. In the last video, we took a close look at this, did an off-road speed run, then did some bashing with it. And we did do a little bit of damage. Let me show you what happened. During one jump, or possibly a combination of jumps, we bent this rear center brace. I had a few people mention that it looked like the chassis was bent in the last video. I suspect it's being pulled together by this center brace. Let's see how much tension's on this, and then check and see how straight the chassis is after we take that tension off. Okay, yeah, there was quite a bit of tension on that brace, which makes sense because when this happened, it made the brace shorter, which is gonna pull everything together. Let's see how straight that chassis is. I got my straight edge here, and as you can see, it's basically perfectly straight. Of course, we've got the kick up in the front, but that was there from the factory, but the rest of the chassis is basically completely flat. Well, it's not perfectly straight, but it's as good as I'm gonna get it. I suspect we're gonna be here again. I really hope they come up with a 70-75 option for this brace. All right, she's all set. Let's take this thing out to the street to see just how fast it is. And while we're at it, think we should throw some hoons on it and see how well it does as a street basher? I think so, we'll take these with us. All right, we could do 47 miles an hour off-road. Let's see what this thing can do on-road. Oh, she's definitely faster. What? Great, tires are wet now. One more pass. All right, let's bring it in and get a reading. 57, that's not too bad. Now, I think it could do better if I had a little bit more room, probably 60, 62, and I think I'm running out of gear as well, so this thing's probably got 65 miles an hour in it with proper gearing and enough room. Let's get the street tires on it. Street bash time. Well, 57's not too bad. Keep in mind that I have a power system in here that's not quite as powerful as the one that comes in the RTR, and I could probably go a little bit more aggressive with the gearing. I think 65 wouldn't be a problem with the RTR version and the right gearing. If you're enjoying watching this, make sure you get subscribed. We've got all kinds of new cars, reviews, news, bashing and crashing coming up. You're not gonna wanna miss it. All right, guys, time for the main event. Let's get these big springs on here, get these big tires on here, and go see what this thing can do on the big jump. As you can see, these optional springs are a lot stiffer. Front is done, and yeah, that is a lot stiffer. And a lot stiffer on the rear. That should really help with bashing. Let's get those big tires on, go out and hit the big jump. Oh, okay, well, First thing I want to say is this is the easiest jumping car I've ever owned. And by easy jumping, I mean sometimes when you've got a car, it's just work to get it in the air. This car definitely is not work to get it in the air. I actually had to move my ramp back a few feet to stop myself from going into my neighbor's yard. And that's pretty rare. That being said, let's see what got damaged. First and most obviously, the rear wing got torn off and the rear wing mount got damaged. Along with that, on that same hit, I bent the rear shock tower in pretty badly. That being said, that was a really gnarly hit. I'm not sure any vehicle would have landed that without taking damage. Surprisingly, my poorly repaired rear center brace didn't bend anymore. The chassis is also still just about straight. We got a little bit of a curve to it. Not too bad though for what this thing just went through. Other than that though, there is no damage to this car. No arms broke, nothing broke in the steering. Everything else looks basically brand new on it. And that's pretty impressive for the beating I just put this car through. So based on the 4 or 5 packs I've got through this right now, do I think this is the best basher buggy that's ever been made? I'm not sure. The TLR Typhon is an amazing truck and has 70/75 aluminum in all the places that this has 60/61. That being said, that buggy is about 25 to 30% more expensive than this. With coupon as a roller, you can get this for about $300, which means if you get cheap enough electronics, you can be into this thing for around $450 all in, and that's a pretty good price for how durable and how fun this buggy is. I'd love to see a version of this with a 70/75 brace, a 70/75 chassis, and 70/75 towers. That being said, this thing is super tough. All I really need to do is buy a $5 part and bend this shock tower back, and I'm back in business. As a matter of fact, I'm still in business. I was still bashing even with that bend. Nothing broke that stopped me from bashing. So should you get this car? I think if you're in the market for a tough, fun 1/8 scale buggy, you could do a lot worse than the Team Co Rally Spark. And speaking of that, you could do a lot worse than watching this next video.